Welcome back to Faces and Places Across the United States. Our guest this week is Kathleen in Morin County in California.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our web chat, Faces and Places Across the United States. My name is Sandra, and I'll be your host today. Today, I'll be talking to our guest, Kathleen. Welcome to our chat, Kathleen.
Good morning, Sandra. Thank you for having me.
It's so wonderful to have you here today in our American English at State Facebook page. We are delighted that you have joined us for this web chat. Before we begin, let's ask our audience where they are joining us from today. Please let us know in the comments box. Kathleen, thanks again for being here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from and where are you now?
Well, thank you, Sandra. Hi, everyone. I'm originally from the state of Kansas, which is in the Midwest of the United States, actually in the center. But I've lived in California for most of my life. I would say over 2/3 of my life. I've lived here in Marin County, which is the county that's north of the city of San Francisco, about 15 miles north, more or less. And I've lived here on and off since 1991. So I've been here a long time. So I consider this my hometown. And Marin County is not a huge area. It's a pretty large area. And there are about 15 different little towns that exist within Marin County. I live in the town of Kentfield.
Kentfield. So how's the weather there today?
Well, today it's very cool. It's about 54 degrees. It's starting to feel like fall. We've had a late heat wave, which is not uncommon for California. Usually our best weather is in September and October. So when tourists want to come here in the summertime, we always say, don't come in June. It's cold in June. Come in September or October, where it's not too hot. But it's pretty out. The trees are starting to turn color and it just feels like autumn.
That's excellent to hear. Here in Washington, D.C., we had a pretty cloudy morning with a lot of rain in the past 2 days, but hopefully it will get warmer later on. I wanted to tell you we have people from all over the world watching us today. We have people watching. We have Marie from the Philippines. We have Irene from Indonesia. We have Ibrahim from Egypt. We have Aunt Shun from Myanmar. We have Alex Lee from Malaysia. We have Shamin from Iran. We have Karima from Algeria. We have Renu from India. Pablo from Mexico. Waltz is watching us from the Philippines. We have Maria del Mar from Andalusia. And we have Betsy from Ecuador. So these are just to name a few. We have people from all over the world who are here this morning.
That's
so
awesome.
I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to share first some of the questions we have from our audience. So we have some questions we asked people a few days ago. What do they know about San Francisco area and what do they want to know? So we have Sabrina saying, Kathleen, what makes your hometown unique and what is your favorite place to live? So we're going to ask you those questions. We have Rehanna saying, I would like to know if Kathleen has ever been, had those famous hot air balloon rides in maybe over the San Francisco Bridge, if you have done that or not. We also have Gadir. Thank you so much. I'll be here, and I hopefully you are here watching us, Gadir. We have Nacheli Hernandez saying hi. What are the familiar places to visit and why? We also have Bel Guzman saying hello. What is the most popular food in San Francisco? We have Karina Reyes saying hello, what is the most popular tourist attraction in San Francisco? And we have also Erica saying, what is the most important and beautiful tradition in San Francisco? So thank you so much to our audience members for sending us these questions. So the first question I have for you today is, California is the Golden State. Can you tell us why?
Well, California is, every state in the United States has its own nickname or slogan. For instance, Kansas is the wheat state and California is called the Golden State because in 1848, gold was discovered in the county of El Dorado, which is kind of halfway between Sacramento and Yosemite Park. And in 1849, California experienced the largest mass migration of people to any place in in its history because people were coming to California to seek their fortunes and become rich with the discovery of gold. So we call it the Golden State. You've heard of the California 49ers or the San
Yes.
Francisco 49ers, which is our football team. 49 is recognized as the year that the gold rush, what we call the gold rush, the rush to come here, actually happened. But it actually was discovered in 1848 by Captain John Sutter. So we're very proud of our history.
Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that about the football team.
Yeah.
So today we want to talk about your hometown. Some people define their hometown as the place they were born, and some others as the place they live or have lived for a long time. So where do you consider your hometown, and can you describe it for us?
Well, I consider my hometown to actually be my home county. There you see Marin County. Those are our beautiful green hills. That's a picture taken probably in the spring, because in the summertime, the grasses become yellow. We've had a lot of bad fires here too in the past couple of months that many of the viewers will have heard about. We've had 4 million acres of California burn just in 6 or 8 weeks. But I consider the whole county my hometown because the little towns are very close together. For instance, one town might be only a half a mile from the next town. So really, you say where you live, like I live in Kentfield, but it's almost like saying that's my neighborhood, even though each town has its own city government. So Marin County has towns called San Rafael, Kentfield, Ross, Larkspur, San Anselmo, Novato, to name a few. So I include the whole county as my hometown.
So it looks like a lot of different towns making a big county. And so tell me, what is something unique that you have in that whole area in your hometown?
Wow, where to begin? Marin County is full of so many unique and beautiful natural attractions. There you see a picture of a bridge that's in the lake area. We have a lake district where that's where we get most of our drinking water from. We call it the watershed district. So that photo I took on one of my trail runs. I like to go trail running, and Marin County is a great place for anybody who loves the outdoors because we have a very large and vast national park and state park network that reaches all the way to the coast, to the Pacific Ocean, called the Point Reyes National Seashore. And part of that includes the national coastline and also part of a national park. And we also have our famous mountain, which you can see in the background there, Mount Tamalpais. And it's the main geographical feature of Marin County. It's our only mountain, but it's fairly high. It's about 2,000 meters high, I think. And it's beautiful. That's a canal in front that's also part of our marshland. So to me, the most wonderful thing about Marin County is the outdoor beauty. But remember that we're also very close to San Francisco, which is a major city in the United States and is the financial headquarters of the state of California. People assume that it's Los Angeles, but it's not. It's San Francisco. So I could talk a lot about Marin County. There are so many things that make it a really special place to live.
It definitely looks so beautiful, and it looks like if you like to be outdoors, you have a lot of places to go and visit. But
Absolutely.
I know there is a very unique and very important landmark. There are two of them that you share with me. The one you just mentioned, Mount Tamalpais, but also there is another big landmark. Can you tell us which one it is and why it's so important?
Well, the Golden Gate Bridge, as you see there, is one of the most famous bridges in the world. And I suppose it's one of the most beloved landmarks, even though it's man-made, in the San Francisco Bay Area. Marin County is what is north of the bridge. And this photograph is taken from Marin County. So that little bit of land that you see in the foreground of that photo is Marin County. And in the distance, you can see the city of San Francisco there to the left of the photo. And so everything that's on the southern side of the Golden Gate Bridge is the city of San Francisco, and it goes all the way down to the peninsula. It's what they call a suspension bridge, and it was completed in 1937 at a cost of about $2 million, which at that time was a lot of money. And it took 4 or 5 months to build, or no, 4 or 5 years to build, I think. It was a very quick build in terms of bridge construction. And it's beautiful. The color that you see, which looks a little bit orange in this picture, is not quite so bright in real life, but it does have its own name, the color that is. It's called International Orange. And in order to keep the bridge that nice color, they have to paint it 365 days of the year. So they start painting on one end, they paint, 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 paint. They get to the other end, they turn around and come back. So it's always under a situation of being painted.
Wow, because it's so large. I have to tell you, I attempted to cross it, and it takes a long time, and it's very windy as you're crossing it.
Yes, it is. It's very windy when you get to the middle of the bridge, because the winds that come in through what we call the Golden Gate. The Golden Gate is a natural opening to the ocean from what we call the bay. So the city of San Francisco and the city of Oakland and Richmond and all of Marin County are situated around the bay. And then the opening, which is what the bridge spans, is called the Golden Gate. And that leads to the Pacific Ocean.
So if you're just joining us, we are talking to Kathleen, who is currently in California, and Kathleen is talking to us about her hometown. So you've mentioned a few places to visit, but I know there's a lot of other places to see. And what do you think a visitor should see, do, or learn about your hometown?
Well, there are many, many things to do here. As I mentioned earlier, the outdoors is a very important part of our life here. And the photo that you see now, I took myself on one of my mountain bike rides. Mountain biking is very, very popular in Marin County, because Marin County is what they call the home of modern mountain biking. And mountain biking was created here, so we like to believe, in the late 60s, early 70s by a few guys. One of them is called Gary Fisher. Another guy was Joe Breeze. There's like 4 or 5 guys that started to modify their old bikes so that they could ride on what you see there, which is what we call a fire road. And Mount Tamalpais, you saw a photo of that earlier, is covered with these fire roads. And they're basically just wide gravel roads that have been constructed for the fire trucks to get up into the mountains to fight fires, because we have a high fire risk here in California. So mountain biking is very popular. And normally I have my mountain bikes right behind me when I get ready to go out, because I have to clean the chain and get them ready. So it's a big part of my life as well. Other things to do if you come to the San Francisco Bay Area would be to visit Point Reyes, which I mentioned earlier. It's our national seashore. There's a picture that I took at dusk. It's normally a little bit sunnier, but we have a lot of cloudy weather here. So that's actually pretty typical for the weather that you see on our coast. So Point Reyes National Seashore is also a very important thing to do if you come as a tourist, although you will need to rent a car, because there's only one bus that goes out to the National Seashore. So it's better to have a car.
Other things. Have one more picture there, right, of Point Reyes. I think we have one of our last pictures shows Point Reyes.
Oh yeah, that's our famous lighthouse. You can see there. You can actually see that lighthouse when you are driving over the Golden Gate Bridge. If you look over your shoulder to the right or left, depending on whether you're coming or going, you can see the lighthouse out in the background. And they just restored it a few years ago. It took them 2 years to completely restore and renovate the old lighthouse, which is from the late 1800s. And it's a very nice thing to do if you're a tourist, to come out and see our lighthouse. Another thing to do is to go to the wine country, which is not actually in Marin County. It's in the counties of Sonoma and Napa. And people that are listening might know of Sonoma and Napa. So that's another fun thing to do. What else? Well,
So
visit
I
the
have,
city.
yeah, so I have a few questions that I want to ask you, and we're running out of time. So I want to get to a few of them that our audience has
Okay.
written to us in our comments box. We actually have a lot of questions, but I want to start with one. So what is the most famous sport in San Francisco? What do you think?
Well, that's a good question. We have this is a sports mecca if you like sports, because we have the Golden State Warriors, which is our basketball team. They're stationed in Oakland. They are now in the process of moving to San Francisco though, but we still call them the Golden State Warriors. We have the San Francisco 49ers, which is our football team. We mentioned that earlier. We used to have the Oakland Raiders, but they moved to Las Vegas last year. They'd been here for decades, but now they're probably going to be called the Las Vegas Raiders. And we have our famous baseball team, which I'm personally fond of. They're called the Oakland A's. So they're not in Marin County, they're across the bay in Oakland, but we consider all of these sports teams to be our sports teams. We also have a hockey team called the San Jose Sharks, and they're farther down to the south.
You are right. You have almost every sport.
We do.
Yeah, that is pretty good. So we are pretty close to run out of time, but I have one more question for you. So
Okay.
we have Josue as asking, what is your favorite music?
Oh, that's a great question, Josue. I love classical music. I love rock and roll. I love rhythm and blues. For instance, I love the Isley Brothers, one of my favorite groups. I love rock and roll, of course, because I'm a child of the 70s. And I like classical music. I was trained as a pianist. So if I have access to a piano, I like to play classical, but I haven't played for years. So it's sort of an old pastime.
It's a good variety of music and different instruments and all that. So that's good.
I like everything.
So before we go, I have Abigail Serna Bautista from the Philippines, and she's saying, please shout out at me. So thank you for being here. And we also have Ali Carmine saying California is the best. And we have Aun saying hello from Thailand, and Nhung Ta saying hello from Saigon, Vietnam. And I hope we answer most of the questions. We have a lot of people asking what is the best place to visit. So you already talked to us about all those wonderful places that San Francisco has to offer. One more question before we go. Let's see, what is an important museum in San Francisco?
Good question. I love museums. My favorite museum is the Palace of the Legion of Honor, which is a very beautiful and old museum that's located in the city of San Francisco overlooking the ocean. And if you're curious about seeing what it looks like, you can watch an old movie with Jimmy Stewart. I think it's in Vertigo, the famous movie Vertigo. They film a scene at the Palace of Legion of Honor. There's another wonderful museum called the DeYoung Museum, which is in Golden Gate Park. And we have many museums, but those are my two favorites.
So lots of places for our audience to check out if they come to San Francisco. Absolutely. And also check out online all these wonderful museums that have great exhibits also virtually. So our time is up, unfortunately. We had so many things to talk about today, and we want to thank you, Kathleen, for sharing your story with us today. We'd like to thank our audience for such a lively engagement and participation today. We hope you'll continue to share your ideas through social media. Don't forget to check out our amazing resources on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel and our website, americanenglish.state.gov. So thank you again, Kathleen.
Thank you, Sandra, and thanks to all the people who tuned in today. I'm so pleased to be able to talk about my hometown and the city of San Francisco. So thank you so much. This was really fun. I enjoyed it.
And we hope to see you again in our next episode of Faces and Places across the United States. We encourage you to continue to engage with our community virtually like you did today with questions and comments. So thank you and bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Goodbye. Au revoir. Adios.